18th. Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Wednesday, the 18th of November, 2020. I'm your host, the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me for this ungodly hour. My co-host, Andy Hall and Nokasuchi, will be here. Andy is from the Laughing in Disbelief blog over at Pathos. His links are down below. Feel free to go follow him over there. And The Rage, Nokasuchi is from The Rage channel here on YouTube. So feel free to go hit and follow his links and subscribe to his stuff. Good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about stuff here in just a minute, right? Stuff. Uh-oh. I lost my buttons. My buttons are gone. Where'd my buttons go? Oh, no. There we go.
I gotta do something for this ad for the Laughing in Disbelief YouTube channel. Color. Well, I like color. Color's pretty cool. Everyone's doing color. Color is stupid. I can't do color. I gotta change it. No. Too much change. Bad change. Too different. Monkeys? I like monkeys. Check out the Laughing in Disbelief YouTube channel.
All right. Good morning, Andy. How are you doing today? Andy,
I am doing well so far, sir. I survived and thrived with my girlfriend's birthday yesterday. And
Yes.
So I probably spent the most amount of time and effort on a gift that, in terms of cost, didn't cost a whole lot. But it was probably the most satisfying gift I've ever given. And I think it was probably I think it'll be a gift that she will remember up until the time they put her into the ground. So I was quite happy with that.
That's good. Well, happy birthday to her, for us, to the girlfriend.
Thanks.
Yeah, happy birthday. It would be rude to ask how many spankings she got this year, so I will move on.
I'll say that she is an age-appropriate girlfriend, not that I had a few inappropriate age, which are a subject of many other embarrassing stories that I could tell about, too, amongst the other embarrassing stories that I have. Yeah, age-appropriate girlfriend. That's what I'm doing right there.
Finally. Nokasuchi, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Waking up slowly, but I'm getting there.
Still installing Java?
Yeah.
I come up with actually things to infuriate or to agitate Rage just to get him up and running, to get him up into different things. That's actually one of my goals in the morning, to tell you the truth. I don't have many goals in my life, but that just happens to be one of them.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before we get too far along, I want to say good morning to everybody in the chat. Hello to the damnation, you wonderful people. Paul Camish, good morning, Paul. I see you there. Let's see. Critical Cripple, Dave. Good morning, Dave. Lots of wonderful people. I'm on the wrong page. I'm on Nakasuchi's page. Sorry. Okay, yes. Trina DeLuca, Cindy Plaza, all you wonderful people. Derek Cruz, good morning. Remember Sammy Jenkins, all you people who are watching on our channels, thank you for joining us. And the people who are watching on Facebook, thank you again for joining us. And, of course, we got Twitch and Twitter and my TrumpFamilyTreason.com. They all start with a T. And then, of course, we also have the Daily Atheist Morning Show podcast live. So good morning, everybody. Thank you all, you wonderful people, for joining us. So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts about the continued, as you can see, first of all, let's talk about my GIF. I love my GIF. I'm a GIF master. And I say GIF, I'll explain, because it's graphics GIF. Okay, so I don't care what the guy who made it says. I don't care what he thinks. Anyway. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, you guys. What do you guys think about this continued rash of people who deny the existence or severity of COVID and then die from it, especially the pastors? Now, we talked about yesterday, Andy had a video on there. We talked about a nurse has these patients who are, as they pass, are going, it's not COVID. It's not COVID. It's that's a tribute to Robin Williams.
Their last dying breaths, man. They are just in denial of COVID. Yeah. It just shows you the power and toxicity of faith right there. That's what it does.
Right. And also this Trump cult, not just the faith. It's not just religious stuff. It's also political. It's this right-wing nutbaggery. I like to tie it on to the faith people, but it is also in great part the Trump people. But they caught on to that, and that's what we talk about, the interaction or the interlocking between politics and religion. The political people go, oh, they're going to do, so that's part of the reason why we have this fight, so they could keep the right on their side anyway. Complicated. Did I notice that the guys dancing was synced with the music? That was pretty cool. I did not. I can't hear the music. I couldn't hear the music in the before show, so I couldn't hear that. Hopefully y'all can hear it. I'm still testing the podcast or Discord. I don't know if it's working or not.
I have very little knowledge about. I think I've been on Twitch a handful of times. I was a guest on someone's show because, of course, Twitch is mostly gaming, but there are people spreading out and doing all kinds of different shows on Twitch. Discord, I think I can summarize what I know about Discord in one letter. And that's a number, actually. It's a letter and a number. It's 0.
Nothing.
And since I really don't understand YouTube either, I guess the summarization is that I really don't understand most of the things that I do most of the time, Chris. I think that most of us as human beings have a very slim grasp on our real motivations on why we do what we do anyway. But as a comedian, I just embrace the absurdity and the ignorance. Gotcha. That's what I do.
Well, apparently I don't know much about it either because it's not working right. I'll figure it out one of these days. Later, not now. Thank you guys for testing. I appreciate you. You don't have to sit there and endure the horrible audio. Thank you, though. I'll try to figure out what the deal is with the audio. Can you see the video, though, before I go too far? Can you see the video in Discord? Can you see it? I don't know. I see it. It's backwards. They told me not to worry about that, though. So anyway, moving on.
Backwards?
It's backwards. Yeah, it's backwards. I wouldn't lie to you here in front of everybody. It's backwards. It's still reverso.
So in keeping it with my lofty goals of enraging the rage, so what's the whole Whitmire Wolverine Watchman? Yes, I said Wolverine Watchman. I said it because it's my favorite phrase.
You're doing great.
So are you guys officially on lockdown rage?
Yes, it started this morning. We had a crazy night at work where everybody and their grandparents seemed to go out before the shutdown started. So I'm not too sure. I'm very supportive of the governor and what she's doing, but I'm not too sure how giving 2 days is going to help curb the infection numbers when you literally just gave people an excuse to go out and get each other sick last night. So, I think she if you're going to do it, it should have started when you announced it, I believe.
I remember when the day before the lockdown happened, maybe it was a couple of days before the lockdown happened back in March. It was right around St. Patty's Day. And I was of course I was blitzed. I was blitz drunk. And I was at my favorite place in the world, the bar over here in Somerville. Great place in case you're in the area. And we were pretty much away, me and my girlfriend. We were pretty much, it's a big place with little nooks and crannies. I guess that's my phrase too, besides Wolverine Watchman today, nooks and crannies. So we were pretty far away from the people. And it seemed weird that we were the oldest of the, because typically it's a there's a wide age group of people who are there, but just a lot of young people. And I'm like, I keep hearing this thing about COVID and didn't even realize that we were going to be shut down within a very short period of time of being in this crowded bar. However, now that I know what I know, I do not go out. I do not go to inside dining. I do not go to bars. The idea that the governor, if hypothetically, if the governor here said everything was going to get shut down, I would not be like, let's go out and party like it's COVID 1999. You see what I did there?
That's exactly what happened here in my town last night, and I'm sure it happened all over Michigan. There seems to be almost half the state just really, really hates the governor, have fallen for this, that she is somehow taking their liberty by trying to save the life of their older loved ones. And I don't get it. And there's no respect. And it was a shit show last night here in Michigan. So, I'm sure we're going to see a spike in numbers just from yesterday.
How long is the lockdown supposed to last for, Rage?
3 weeks, but I think we're all expecting it to go longer. It's kind of what the governor did with the first shutdown. She would extend her orders. So you give them 3 weeks and people are like, oh, 3 weeks ain't that bad. And they don't realize this is probably going to go on till February.
So, brother, tell me this, right? I used to work in the food service industry, right? 3 weeks. What happens to all that perishable food? You just like smash and grab, basically, or do you? I mean, without incriminating yourself or any of your coworkers, do people donate it to shelters? I mean, the sliced turkey isn't going to last 3 weeks.
We will be transferring to takeout, and the last time the numbers really spiked, and we actually got busier. This time, I'm not sure what like bars are doing. I'm assuming bars are just taking the loss because you know most of your bars are going to be shut down. You're not going to have any takeout. So yeah, but in a bar situation, most of your loss is going to be like pretty. It's going to be minimal. So yeah, I mean, most companies are innovative, especially in the restaurant business. And if you're an innovative company, you can make up for it. It's just the workers are going to be losing hours. The workers are the ones that really are going to be losing out. So while everybody's worried about the business owners, nobody seems to be talking about the workers that are going to be homeless and starving here very, very soon.
I find this hard to believe that we live in a nation where basic everyday workers get screwed out of the system.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy talk.
Crazy talk. That's what it is.
Well, there's going to be a lot more of it as things get worse. But hopefully things can kind of start turning around as we get Trump and his ilk out.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
The ilk have to go. They're bad ilk. That's what they are. In fact, I was reading this, pivoting a bit to this article I was sharing with you guys on Messenger about Paula White and talking about the crazy Christian types and how they're completely unhinged about everything, not just about some things, but pretty much almost everything. You talk to a theocrat about, a Christian theocrat about, and they're just off in some kind of psychotic dream state. This story comes from, of course, the Friendly Atheist, found on Patheos too, though I think he wants to deny the fact that we share, that we're on the same blogging platform, because I do comedy and he does legitimate news. So the name of this article is Paula White, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and the KKK are all, quote, antichrist. And I'm just going to read a bit of the article. Keeping with the conspiratorial brand of Christianity that made her rich and famous, Paula White, aka Donald Trump's spiritual advisor and head of the government's, and this is crazy, Faith and Opportunity Initiative program, said during a service this weekend that Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and the KKK are all terrorist organizations. Not everything belongs in a trinity. In this case, she's one for three. And here's a quote from this video. A quote from Miss White. Christ's likeness is not found in my gender. It is not found in my culture. It is not found in my ethnicity. It is not found in KKK. It is not found in Antifa. And it is not found in Black Lives Matter, all of which are antichrist and even terrorist organizations. Apparently, the article goes on, apparently fighting against fascism and racism makes you as bad as the KKK. And this is why both sidesism, this moral equivalency, saying that people on the right, radicals on the right, are just as bad as people on the left. This is absurd. There's no way that Antifa, which hopes to protect protesters and marchers, are the same as the KKK, which has had generations of hanging people, killing people, mauling people. It's absurd to compare the two.
Well, I can understand, if you're a fascist, you might see Antifa like that. I mean, if you're a fascist.
Right.
Exactly. If you're a jerk,
That's
you can see why you don't like anti-jerks.
Yeah, well, that seems to kind of be the case. Now, you sent me that article about her, but the scary thing is that people like her are there, and they got so much power, and so many people listen to her. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to say millions, but I mean,
Well, it's
no,
millions.
they're
It's definitely
millions.
millions. Yeah, it's definitely millions.
yeah.
I've done quite a few. I've done a bit of work on Paula White since she took over. You know, like the scariest thing. It's bad enough that Paula White is this like guru for Trump, but the scariest part is that Trump chose her as opposed to like the other prosperity preachers that might not be quite as crazy. You know, I'm thinking of like Joel Osteen or something, you know, but no, you chose Paula White. You chose that one. All right, that's scary.
Right. You can just imagine like the entire discussion within the cabal of Trump, the decision-making cabal. It's like, so boss, which one of these TV preachers do you want? Well, which one's the craziest one?
Yeah,
well, that's going to be Paula White. I mean, right?
No debate on that one. We'll go with Paula. You know,
but is she evil? Is she crazy and evil? Because I need crazy and evil. Is that boss? She is like super crazy and super evil. She's the one.
I wonder how much her appearance went into it with Trump.
It's all branding, right? She has to look like a Fox News reporter, so she has to have like enough foundation on her face that you could chip it off and like find fossils from the Cambrian era, basically. That's and she has to have the bleach blonde hair. She has to show some leg, and say crazy things. She has to have the mean cheerleader look. The mean cheerleader look is the brand for Fox News and for, I guess, Trump's Faith and Opportunity Initiative program.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and she hasn't caught the COVID. I mean, the COVID seems very selective. Like it only goes after the preachers nobody cares about. Like go after the ones we all care about, you know.
Hey, I care about Hagee. The guy yeah. I care about that meatball right there. You know, he's been talking crazy for years. Evil is sin. Evil is sin.
No, I missed yesterday's show and I'm bummed about it because I had a lot to say.
John Hagee, he has the vaccine of the Jesus.
I had a lot to say about that, and my stupid OCD kept me up all night making videos.
Thankfully, it kind of flows into this topic today. I mean, he didn't die from it, but I'm sure other people will, based on his, cavalier attitude towards what. And so, in case you missed it, and I'm sure you probably at least know about what happened, Hagee got the cooties, spent 15 days in the hospital with double pneumonia, he said, and then got out, and with the help of Jesus, he is healed.
The vaccine of Jesus.
The vaccine of Jesus. And I thought that would have been a perfect opportunity for him to have foregone any medical assistance and just had prayer worship with the 24-hour live cameras in his room there at his house or whatever, as he and Jesus fought this off. That would have been, just like perfect opportunity, mais non, which is Greek but no.
I really hope he's thanking Jesus for saving the raging atheist, because I want to send that personal thank you to Jesus for the cure. I mean, if you're curing Christians and you're curing me, then you're really consistent, Jesus. You're really consistent.
Here's the deal. In the future, because God knows the future and the past and the past and all that stuff. He knows the front to the back. He knows down the road you will eventually give in and convert to Christianity. If he was to kill you now, you wouldn't have that opportunity to just be cha-ching straight to hell. So he's going to want to keep you around for a while so he can continue working on your heart.
Well, I like the Calvinist interpretation of predestination. The fact that God has called his elect or chosen his elect at the beginning of time. And that, I'm sorry, if Rage isn't one of the elect that's been chosen at the beginning of time, then you should just be happy with going to hell, brother. That's all there is to it. Just take your medicine.
All the cool people are there.
Well, I've always said that. Like, I don't want to go to heaven with the goody goodies. I want to go down to hell and smoke spliffs. Like Biggie Smalls said.
And you don't even have to let them. They're lit.
I have such great kids. I made this joke, right? My kids came over for my girlfriend's birthday, and my kid I have two kids, 18 and 15, and I made a joke about smoking spliffs, and neither one of them knew what the hell I was talking about. And I'm like, yeah, that's parenting done right.
That's right. I had a friend down in Texas. I haven't talked to him in many, many moons, but there was just a little bit of age difference between he and I. And And I called weed or, weed or marijuana or whatever. I never called it cannabis until just like a couple of years ago. But weed, it was always weed. And one day he's over at my house and we were talking. He's like, man, and I got pulled over and I had this bag of dope right here beside me. I'm like, dope? What do you mean dope? He's like, marijuana. And I'm like, oh. So his age group called it dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually call it herbs.
Herb. There you go. Herb.
I use whatever language the DARE instructor told me back in high school. That's what it's Mary Jane. That's how old I am. I refer to smoking the spliffs with
the devil's lettuce.
The
devil's lettuce.
That's right.
You're in league with Lucifer. And
you know what's weird?
Right?
and I know I'm digressing a little bit. But the DARE instructor that came, I think, to my middle school was basically telling us how to get high off of inhalants too. It's like I think this might be working against the goals that you're setting here about keeping us from getting high. Is that you're telling us basically step by step how to get high with aerosols to middle schoolers.
Kids. Never sniff gasoline. That's and they're like, oh wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Thanks, dear officer. You're great.
The good old days. That's the reason why my IQ stops where it does, because all those years of like I sniffed. Did I ever? Once.
You worked in the oil fields. How could you not sniff stuff? I mean, it was all around you.
Yeah, sniffing gasoline once or twice, I think, whenever it was like 8 or 9, something like that. It was like weird West Texas stuff. Was nothing compared to the hydrogen sulfide we went through working 20 years in the oil field. Absolutely. Yeah. Fun for the whole family.
Indeed.
If Jesus resurrected today, this is a question by Uri Bench in my chat. If Jesus was resurrected today, would he wear a mask?
Well, this is a good question. So hear me out on it. Okay. If Jesus is the Son of God and knows all things, right, is omni everything, then why didn't he just tell people to wash their hands, right? I mean, especially after going to the bathroom, it's like,
some of the basics.
You think about the Last Supper, right? The Last Supper. I mean, Jesus knows he's going to die, supposedly, but do you really want to break bread with someone who's just walking out? And they took a number 2. You knew they took a really juicy one too. They just dropped one out, and I don't even know what they used to wipe themselves back then. But it wasn't toilet paper.
Left hand.
Left hand, indeed. The left hand of Finn. There, it's the dirty.
That's why you don't shake with the left hand.
No, right? So I'm gonna say, just saying that Jesus didn't tell anyone to wash their hands back in the day. He's not going to tell people to wear a mask. He's not about that. What he's about is the end of the world and the fact that the kingdom of God.
That's a good point.
That's what I say. Jesus would be anti-mask because he wasn't pro-hand washing. That's what my thoughts are. My theological argument is.
Well, yeah, he would definitely be anti-mask, and he would be holding super spreader events because everywhere he goes, people would be flocking to him to get that free fish.
The free fish. Jesus fish.
Jesus fish. Or the floating toast Jesus, glowy Jesus.
Yeah, I bet y'all didn't know Jesus was a socialist.
Well, he gave out all that free fish.
When they asked the question, if Jesus was resurrected today, would he wear a mask? My first response was, well, really, which Jesus are we talking about? Is it whichever church you go to has a different Jesus in their mind? Was there an actual real Jesus? Was there not a real Jesus? I don't know, but I mean,
Charlton Heston, Osama bin Laden.
There's so many Jesuses out there. Would the Jesus from that this church worships, would he wear a mask? Certainly he would, because he wants to protect everybody. Would the Jesus over here? No, he's a Calvinist. He wants murder, death, kill. I mean, but then, so that's kind of my thinking. It would just vary. But Andy's point is good. I like Andy's point about how Jesus didn't mention washing your hands.
Yep.
Now, I think that's a testament to if there was a Jesus, or at least the author who wrote about the fake Jesus didn't know about bacteria and these things. I think that an omnipresent God who wanted to tell his people things to make them suffer less would have said things like, wash your hands after you poo.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
when
think
you
somewhere in the Quran it does actually tell you to go poo away from your tent. I think that
They-
does happen.
They are very clean
They may
people.
even-
I've only been
They
into
may
a
even tell you
mosque
that.
once. I've only been into a mosque once, but I was very impressed with the washing ceremony before entering, I don't know, the main
See?
theatrical chamber for the magic. You had to
Yeah.
wash your hands, you had to wash your nose, you had to wash everything, guys. You had to wash everything 3 times each. And it's like, well, that's somewhat impressive for cleanliness and hygiene.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. So
Gotta wash the
but the
demons
whole
away.
notion they should have taught back then in the Bible. God should have taught us that to boil your water. To in the 10 Commandments, boiling your water would have been a good one. Not raping children would have been a good one.
Mm-hmm.
To put in there. But they had. I don't know. Is it in the 600? Is that in there somewhere? I mean, there's a lot of them in there, but they don't really cover them. It's like a lot of fail whenever you're talking about the better things you could have taught people instead of what they taught the people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah. I mean, God has a problem with using his words, so that's been happening for a couple thousand years.
That's right. Paul Camish has got a wonderful point. He says, I think Jesus would be pro-choice because they all go to heaven. I think the same thing. I think Jesus, or if you're if you're a Christian, it boggles my mind that you're not pro-abortion, especially pro-abortion for people that you seem to despise anyway.
Yeah. Well,
so why, it just doesn't make sense.
If Jesus was
straight to heaven. Straight to heaven.
If Jesus was a rabbi, and Jewish tradition states that the person doesn't become ensouled until they take their first breath, then you can make an argument that
no harm, no foul. Then
fetuses, up until the time they exit the mother and breathe their first breath, are basically organs like an appendage of the mother, like any other internal organ, and don't really have and aren't ensouled. And so Jesus may very well say that you can have abortions up until the time the child is about to pop out. I mean, there's definitely an argument there. See, I know things. It isn't just crap jokes, man.
So, Jesus, Jesus is what they say Biden is then.
Well, wasn't there? There's also a potion in the Bible that the priests give to make women have abortions.
Yeah,
am I wrong?
I was recently corrected because I thought they instructed them to go out and get some plant, but no, they use like the ash from
the fucking temple.
Yeah, from the temple. So and that would
just nasty.
Kill the fetus. So yeah, I mean, God didn't have much of a big issue with it. It seems.
So where these Christians get this notion of save the fetus, it's just it's a power trip by the right.
A lot of this comes back from Paul. Paul needing to popularize Jesus to the Gentiles and having these dreams and visions. Of course, Paul never met Jesus, and which was a lot of sources of beef. It's like, you don't even know this dude. Why are you talking up against, like the disciples are saying this to Paul. It's like, you don't even know this guy. Why are you running your mouth about him? And Paul's like, hey, I'm going to be much more popular than you guys, and I'm going to win the game eventually because I'm better at my game than you are.
Well,
this is the whole summarization of the New Testament, I guess.
He kind of had one up on him because, those silly disciples wanted to mutilate people's penises, and Paul was like, we don't got to do that. And I mean,
who doesn't?
He's like, hey, you don't want to.
I think I'm going to go with the guy that's not going to cut my penis. I think that's who I'm going
with. If you want to eat pork, do you want to eat pork? Then you should just eat pork, man. It's good, because I had a vision. Because Jesus came to me in a vision and said that, hey, it's all good. The pig is good. You can just ignore all that, Torah stuff about pigs. I found something really disturbing, actually. You want to hear my disturbing fact? I was listening to the Hardcore History podcast with Dan Carlin. It's a great podcast in case anyone really want to get your history geek on. And they're talking about World War II, of course, in the Pacific on the island of Guinea. New Guinea is right near Australia, and there was cannibalism. During the battles between, the Japanese, the natives, and the Allied forces. And the there was this saying, I believe, amongst the natives, that was Dan Carlin was saying this, that they referred to human meat as either dark pig or white pig.
Long pig.
And I remember Hitchens. I remember reading, I think it was in God Is Not Great, that Hitchens theorized that the reason why there was why the Jews are against pork is because it tasted a lot like human flesh. And I thought to myself after listening or while listening to the Hardcore podcast about how the natives referred to human flesh as either dark pig or white pig. I'm like, wow, that really
pig.
does seem to support the idea that human flesh does taste like pork. And that's one of the reasons why ancient Jews just thought that they can't eat pork. Besides, of course, the illness issues, right? With the sickness issues, disease issues. So I thought that was interesting.
It's long pig, not white or black, but long pig. They called them long pigs. It's a translation for a term used by some Pacific islands for human flesh as food.
Yikes.
And I never knew that though. Why the Jews would get that. I see the relationship. I'd never heard that before. That's interesting.
Yep. Steve, dropping wisdom down here.
Dropping knowledge. That's right. Yeah. I'd heard the long pig though thing. I'd heard that before.
Okay, cool.
About that part. I knew about the long pig. I just never associated it, I guess, with the Jews not wanting to eat pork because it tastes like folk.
I found a crazy article. You want to hear about my crazy article?
Sure.
It's I found this. It's titled "God Mode Activated." Meet the gamers, and wait for this. Wait for it. Meet the gamers bringing Jesus to Twitch. Yes. To go with our Hitchens riff.
This is why we can't have good things.
God ruins everything. Religion poisons everything. And apparently it's trying to ruin Twitch too.
Oh, man.
Let me just read a couple of, and I found this, I believe it's on Medium. It is on Medium. Once again, the name of the article, God Mode Activated, Meet the Gamers Bringing Jesus to Twitch. Was that? I heard sounds. Is it me? Is it the psychosis?
Lee Spanner just tipped $1. Thank you very much, Lee, for your support to the channel.
So I'll just read
the
it.
Message in a second. Go ahead.
It's a long article, but I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs just to give you the flavor of insanity. Katie Dexter is a different kind of evangelist. Mind you, I'm using my BS voice right here. Okay. Quote, the gaming community is definitely a community that's got some lost people that need Christ, she says. Millions of people log onto Twitch every month to broadcast live video, most of them streaming games like League of Legends or Rocket League. Some use it to organize sporting events or political discussions, but a small and growing community of creators is using Twitch to reach gamers on behalf of Jesus Christ. Dexter is the chief operating officer of God Mode Activated, a group dedicated to, quote, activating gamers of faith. Initially founded in 2018, GMA's stated goal is to create a community for both believers and non-believers to experience Christianity in the context of gaming. Dexter, also known by her Twitch handle, Catastrophobic, described the ministry's approach to 1.0, that's the name of the article of the publisher, as a, quote, network of GMA affiliates, each of whom is often a free reign to stream whatever games they like, as long as they use their Twitch platform to share Christian content and encourage their audiences to join the GMA Discord server. And I'm just going to choke on my words after that because they're so stupid.
Lee Spanner with his support for the show says ex-Jew here and don't like any of the Western religions at all. Not a fan myself.
Yeah,
not a fan.
No, not a fan of the Abrahamic religions. Not a fan.
Especially. Yeah.
Not a fan.
I mean, the other ones, I'm not much of a fan of the other ones either, but they're not really up in my grill trying to make my children do their bidding and stuff like that. They're, when they do that, then I'll be all mad about them. But until then, I've never had a Shinto knock on my door. Not a once.
You never had a Shinto knock on your door. Well, I'm going to send a couple over, Chris. I'm gonna I'm gonna send
I'm
a
gonna have to
couple
go
of
break my kneecaps
right
again.
How
so
dare
thank you for
you
your
not
support,
accept
Lee.
the emperor is a living god? How dare you? So yeah, so
Right.
apparently there's Twitch. There's a bunch of people on Twitch trying to ruin the Twitch experience for everybody by sharing Christian content on their Twitch channels. It's like, I'm only here to play video games. I imagine a lot of people on Twitch are just there to play video games, and then there are these people who just want to ruin it with Jesus.
Yeah.
Christians ruin everything.
That seems to be their modus operandi.
I wonder if it's something about the brain structure of certain people that makes them more susceptible to believing in things like that, and then being that way. Is right wingism a brain structure thing? Could we make a pill?
I made many jokes about this: serums, vaccines, pills. I think that religiosity really is just like most traits. You can graph them on a bell curve, and that some people are much more given to religious experiences, and some people aren't. For an example, I believe, from what I've seen, people who are engineers, for an example, the more mathy you are, the less likely you are to entertain or to have religious experiences. This is just from my own personal experience, from my own, from what I've seen in the community. I know that I have seen studies that show that people who are more on the spectrum are less likely to be religious. So I think that's interesting too. So yeah, I think that there are definitely some people who are just genetically predisposed towards having religious experiences and being more ecstatic, more responsive to religious messaging than others.
Not that anybody wants to hear about this, but I wrote a sci-fi novel, and in my sci-fi novel, I did a little bit of research on this thing, and there actually are brain differences between people who tend to be more conservative and more liberal. And in my article, there's a species of an alien species actually who drops a virus on our planet that goes after and has different reactions to people based on how their brain is. So if they're liberal people, are not liberal necessarily, but less likely to be religious and manipulated by religion because of that brain structure we're talking about, they foam at the mouth and die off. The ones that do have that brain structure become more so. They become more feverish. They start packing the churches. They start doing this thing. Is this race that wants them to believe they're actually angels returning starts their attack. That's kind of Go ahead.
What I think is an interesting premise for a story, at least, and I've been toying around with this in my mind, is that we always assume that aliens are going to be atheists, right? But what if they are completely susceptible to the God meme, right? In the ways that people in this hemisphere were susceptible to German measles or to smallpox. And the fact that when settlers came over to this hemisphere from Europe, these diseases just wiped them out. Well, let's say that extraterrestrials have no resistance or very little resistance to the God meme. So instead of them coming down here and showing us the light that there is no deity, as enlightened atheists, that they are in fact infected by us and this God meme, and all of a sudden they all become Calvinists or Dominionists, or that's the nightmare scenario. These are things I like to think about.
Yes.
I want to shout out to Brainbug too. I mean, I was on Brainbug's channel the other day. Well, it was a short video, but they were talking about this biblical creature, the Z-I-Z, which is a giant bird from Jewish mythology, and which is in the Bible, I think, mentioned only once. But I found that very useful. Job well done there, Mister. They had a couple of guys on from Dragons and Genesis, and so I never learned about the Z's before, but I guess it's a giant bird in Jewish mythology mentioned in the Bible once, and I found that useful. So shout out to Brainbug on that. Yeah.
I've never heard of that before. A giant bird.
Neither have I.
Well, no,
That's
I mean there were giant eagles. There was an island. I think is it the Isle of Man or something like that, where giant eagles used to. I mean, really, really, really big eagles. They were a thing. Died out about 8,000 to 10,000 years ago.
Biblical creature is the size of Rodan, supposedly. If you all know your kaiju.
Yeah, I do.
Giant bird that is like huge bird.
Gotcha. Rodan, Rodan. All you gotta say is Rodan. Been there.
Interesting. Havoc from my chat goes, almost all my friends who are ADHD like myself are atheists. There you go. It would be interesting to see how ADHD plays with the on regarding religiosity, whether or not people are more predisposed or less predisposed towards religiosity due to ADHD. I mean, I my kids have when I have ADHD, but it isn't the hyperactivity kind of ADHD. It's more the dreamy, just stare off, distracted kind of ADHD. So yeah, that's curious.
I think it's just the AD. You don't have the HD part.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to get into
deficit.
I don't want to get too much in the weeds about this, but once upon a time, ADD was its own clinical diagnosis. That's gone now, and now it's been just woven into ADHD. So it's a subtype of ADHD, the regular ADD. So yes, 10 years ago, I would have been diagnosed with ADD. So now it's probably a subgroup of ADHD.
Lots of A's and D's.
A lot of A's and D's. Does that make it a B minus? I don't know.
Very true.
Anyway, no.
So now I've learned about the Rodan in the Bible. That's crazy. I had no clue.
Yeah, thanks to Brainbug.
Into that one. Thank you, Brainbug. So I'm gonna have Dragons in Genesis back on the show myself soon. I'm gonna be on Brainbug's channel next. I think I don't know if we're live or I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it. I'm doing something with Brainbug Saturday.
Brainbug is awesome. Puff, I can't, for some reason, I can't find your comment on the Buy Me a Coffee page. So if you just put it in the side chat, I'll make sure to ask while we're still live.
Right. Cool. Yeah, no, Rage is here. He just gets quiet every now and then. Usually you got your little girl
I'm
right?
today. Like usually I wake up with plenty of time to at least have a couple coffees before the show. Today I literally woke up right before I came in backstage. So I'm still waking up. I'm coming unthawed, as I like to say.
Coming unthawed.
Yeah.
Well, I want to just kind of drag it, I guess, back to our topic at hand. We have been having this rash of disbelief in the cooties since partially because of the political nature of things in our country. Obviously, can't ignore that. I'm sorry, we just can't. But also because the Christians, the evangelicals, are allowing themselves to be, maybe our again, I mentioned it yesterday. We should have a show topic about how powerful is their God. Can he hear them through a mask? Can he not hear them through a mask? If you don't need a mask because your God is protecting you, why do you need a gun? Same people. Why do they need a gun?
Because they get sexually aroused with a gun, obviously.
You can get sexually aroused with a mask too. It don't take a lot of stretch.
Well, and this is like people ask me like why do I always say religion and Christianity is harmful? Well, this is it exactly. If you really think that this Jesus this human being that lived 2,000 years ago is going to save you from a plague today,
right?
That's an issue, and that's one of the reasons why these religions are extremely harmful. It's you're denying reality. It's pure and simple. You're denying reality.
And how many? I mean, it is absolutely within the Christian religion. Jesus himself was indeed sacrificed. It is not. I mean, Christians are sacrificed all the time. I mean, it's part of the gig to be a martyr and sacrifice. So what makes you think God or Jesus is going to protect you from anything that's going to kill you? Why would you think that? There's no logic there. There's no reasoning.
Straight up, I want to give a shout out to Havoc6927 in my chat. He's like, This is his comment. And I said, did you guys know that there are people starting flat earth churches? My response was, no way, ! Asterisk starts Googling. So, and I found this story, Flatter Day Saints.
Flatter. Oh my goodness. It hurts right here, people.
Flat earthers declare new church. Scientists stand with a sphere. So let me just read you a bit of this article.
Oh, please. Yeah.
David Gordon thinks most people are pointing their telescopes in the wrong direction. Instead of aiming for the stars, he says they should try pointing them across the surface of the earth. The part-time Santa Feen is a full-time flat earther, and at the end of 2019, he decided the best way to protect his unconventional beliefs would be to establish a religion. So he declared the formation of the Church of the Flat Earth and began hosting monthly local meetup. Now, Gordon says anybody who believes Earth was created by a higher power and in the form of a flat plane rather than an oblate spheroid is protected from religious discrimination. Gordon Talley's current church membership is somewhere approaching 100 people, most of them outside the Santa Fe area. How quickly his nascent flock grows remains to be seen. According to here it comes. According to a 2008 YouGov study, 1 in 50 Americans are firmly convinced the Earth is flat. Let me read that again, just to let the horror seep in. In a YouGov study, 1 in 50 Americans are firmly convinced the Earth is flat, and an additional 14% are undecided and skeptical. The same study shows a majority of flat earthers classify themselves as, and I know you're all going to find this surprising, very religious.
Or at least leaning that direction. I have on the screen for people to see, here's a flat earther named Mad Mike. He wanted to see for himself by taking his own personal rocket up to see the curvature of the Earth. He did not survive his first attempt. Yes.
Another example of how God can't use his words. Like, you would think that God would have settled this in the beginning. You know, just tell us, God, you saw it when you made it, God. Why not use your words? And now we have thousands of years later, Christians are still arguing about whether the Earth is round or not.
I thought he did use his words. I thought aren't we like floating on a turtle's back with a dome?
Down, brother.
He said circle. Down. The Bible says circle, you know, so like a circle can be flat or not, right?
Well, you know, a ball is a circle if you close one eye. I'm just saying.
So I put down the links to Chris's and my chat about this Santa Fe Reporter article about the Flat Earth Church there. Yeah, crazy stuff. Right. So it's no wonder if 2% of Americans believe the Earth is flat and 14% are open to the idea, it is no surprise we have so many people who just don't understand face masks whatsoever.
Right. It's a testament to the undermining of the. Well, you know, I've done the memes on the interwebs about Isaac Asimov 30, 40 years ago, talking about how to be an intellect is to be shunned by the people who worship ignorance because there seems to be this cult of ignorance around. I mean. Yeah. See, remember Sammy Jenkins? I just want to point out his comment here. He says, "I think the Earth is a giant sphincter," and it's hard to argue with that.
With the amount of poop in the world, it's hard to.
Yes.
It's hard to argue.
I'm not even sure that the Earth exists. Honestly,
well, if Christopher Stum here, we could have that argument.
Not to take us off of the flat Earth hilarity, I did get the question from my chat. So thank you, Puffaluffagus, for the $5 buy me a blunt. I'm gonna actually utilize that more moving forward. But he says, for the panel, any thoughts on the firing of Chris Krebs for refusing to remove info debunking election fraud claims from U.S. Gov pages and for thwarting foreign cyber attacks on this election?
Yes, I have thoughts.
I have lots of thoughts. My first word when my boss, who is more of a Trumper, a moderate Trumper, mind you, but when he came and told me yesterday, I'm like, the fascist is being a fascist. What, like,
I don't even know what a moderate fascist looks like. Rage, please tell me what a moderate fascist looks like. Tell me what a moderate fascist looks like.
He's
Well,
one of
we
the.
want you halfway dead.
My boss is a Trumper that doesn't like government. So he likes Trump because he doesn't like government. He's ignorant, but he's okay. He's okay.
He's not.
Okay, very good, very good. I'm sorry to have put you into various difficult positions. Actually.
Don't fire me.
Absolutely. All right, don't get you fired. What the hell are you doing, Andy?
I'm just causing trouble, man. I'm sorry.
It's what you do.
It really is.
Yeah. What was it?
There's a reason why he's the only Trumper I respect. Come on. I mean,
yeah. Oh, that signature down there.
Yeah.
Got it.
But no, like I am a bit surprised by just the blatant not giving a damn about what anybody's going to think about this move right now. I'm going to be a crybaby and I'm going to get rid of the guy that said the thing that I don't like. I mean, even I thought Trump couldn't surprise me anymore. Yesterday, I was surprised.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm with you. I feel you. I'm not only we have been predicting that this would be a very interesting, if not scary, time between the election and the inauguration whenever he's removed from power. But now he is just doing everything he can to cause as much trouble as he can and make things as bad as he can. He's doing all this stuff, and it'll take all this time for Biden to undo as much of it as he can. And then look, we're at another election, and Trump's running again, and he can start up his madness again. That's probably what's going through his mind.
And I think even for us, like people like us who were for the last couple months anyway, saying, talking about this worst case scenario that we are living in now. Like we talked about it, but I don't think that we actually thought it would happen or how it would feel when it did. And now that we're here, I think it's surprising to everybody. Like, like even me, like I was surprised yesterday. I'm like, wow, he's going to do it. He's going to do this. He's going to do what we've been saying. And holy crap,
Here he is. Yeah. And we still have, let's see, it's January 20th, right? That's the day.
I still have my
literally have.
So it's January 20th, definitely. Yes.
2 months. 2 months of this man doing whatever. That's why I have a video. All about why we need to drag his ass out now. Adesso, if you speak Italian. Drag his ass out now because of all the damage that he's going to be doing. I will post a link to that short video because, I mean, we might be just kind of sidestepping that whole Constitution if we drag his ass out. Sidestepping it, he's wiping his ass with it, and he's been dragging it on the front lawn of the White House for 4 years with that Constitution. He's done everything he can to subvert that Constitution, and now he's doing everything he can to undo our democratic election. We need to set the parts of that Constitution aside, remove him from office, and then put the things in that Constitution that keeps this from ever happening again, because this is not the way our country is supposed to be.
I think he messed up. I think he's about to lose Republican support because, he announced yesterday he's going to be withdrawing troops from Iraq and Afghanistan, which I am for. I will always tell you if I'm for something Trump does, I'm completely for this. He's not withdrawing like he's claiming it's a complete withdrawal. He's not. He's going to leave 2,500 troops there. Right. But to the right, who loves war, I think he has seriously damaged any chance. Like these people aren't going to continue to support him, and they might even try to remove him now because their war and their donors. You don't mess with that, and now Trump is messing with that. So we're going to see how this new thing plays out.
Well, see here, Ronan says, I found that President-elect Biden will not be pursuing criminal actions against President Trump and his administration. I've never heard that. Matter of fact, I've heard the contrary to that. I saw Biden himself say nobody is above the law, and we're going to go.
I did hear something yesterday. I read something yesterday where Biden is kind of talking about this.
I don't hear it.
This is him reeling it, trying to maybe get Trump to go ahead and agree to step out. I don't know, but that's one of the things that we will have a show about that. That will be one of those non-monetized. I'm going to cuss my patootie off the entire show if Biden and the left decide to not go after the right. That's not.
I'm going to predict that they won't. I think they're going to give full immunity. They're not going to want to create any precedents to where the right can come after them. I don't think that anything will be done.
No. The right already did. Nothing they do will prevent the right from not coming for them again in the future. So it does not matter. They need to go after them now. The right will come after them again. They already went after them. And they would have, and now, that's my
I mean, everybody knows Lindsey Graham did what Lindsey Graham did, and yet Kamala Harris is going to give him a fist bump on the Senate floor yesterday. These people, I mean, it's nothing. I don't think they'll be going after him.
You're gonna have to help me there with that, man. I can't.
Yeah, I couldn't really see it either.
I can't. Yeah, do you want to do it again, maybe? Or not. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever it was you were saying, I'll have to rewind the video and see it. Can we not hear you? Does your mic not working anymore?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure. Let's rewind the stream so I can read what you put up.
No, that's all right. I mean, no, he can sit out there. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much, Nokasuchi. Thank you, Andy, sitting over there in the back room. I hope you guys all had a great day. Thank you to the people who were watching. I very much appreciate you all on all of our channels, on Facebook, on the everywhere. You guys have a great day. Tomorrow will be Thursday. We're halfway through the week. You take care. Nokasuchi?
Oh, yeah. Open room tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. So come and talk with me.
I'm sure Andy's got something going on. I'll let him lean in at the camera and tell me about it later. So you guys have a good one. See you.
I gotta do something for this ad for the Laughing and Disbelief YouTube channel. Color. Well, I like color. Color's pretty cool. Everyone's doing color. Color is stupid. I can't do color. I gotta change it. No. Too much change. Bad change. Too different. Monkeys? I like monkeys. Check out the Laughing and Disbelief YouTube channel.
Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Cindy Plaza and Ian Davenport. Thank you and have a great day.